Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Refine and Shine. I am so excited because I have an amazing person here today. She's an amazing person, an amazing friend. I met her in person about 3 years ago, but I have followed her, her journey and followed her, watched her from afar. And I was so excited when I finally got to meet her. And then we finally, when we developed this friendship, we hit it off right away. She's somebody that it gives me inspiration. She gives me hope, and she continually reminds me of someone who has been through the hard, but continues to shine. Her name is Phyllis Anderson. She is a wife, a mother, a retired nurse, and the founder of Carefolio, which she's going to talk to you about. It's an amazing healthcare journal. During her 28 years in the healthcare profession, Phyllis was a registered nurse in the ER and the resident care administrator, staff educator at a care home for seniors with memory loss. Over the years, she's also taken on multiple volunteering caring roles. And I also wanted to add, she's also a grandma as well. And she has an amazing story. And I just can't wait for you to hear what she has to say. So thank you, Phyllis, for joining us today. And I just want to turn it over to you and just share with us all the amazing things of who you are and what you are here to talk to us about so that we can help learn.
Okay, gosh, thank you so much. And I love that. I love the name of your podcast, that refining, just that refiner's fire, right? And I am a faith-filled girl, so I'm going to talk a little bit about where, having some God in my life and why that was so important. So, when I was 17 years old, I was working at a retail store and just checking a couple of guys out that were my age, just ringing up their purchase. And when one of them said, "What a waste." Like they looked straight at me and said, "What a waste." And I heard the words, and yes, they stung, but I also heard a whisper. And to me, I say that's a knowing from God. And he said, "Don't listen. Don't listen to that. Don't listen." So I was 8 months pregnant, 17 years old. And that deeper voice that I was hearing also said, "You're made for more." And I felt that. I felt that throughout my life. So I just want to ask the audience, have you ever felt devastated by a decision that you made thinking like, there is no way out of this. It is over. There is no hope. There is no plans for a future. Um, just think in your mind what that might be. It might not be that you were 17 and pregnant, but I know that so many of us have things that we're battling and dealing with. So I'm also a mother to 3 adult men, been married 36 years to my high school sweetheart. And like Angelina said, I have 2 beautiful grandbabies. A little bit about my background is I grew up the oldest of 8 kids in a modest 1,000 square foot home with just 1 bathroom. My mom had a very strong faith in God, but my father struggled with alcoholism. He did find sobriety when I was a teenager. Our family sought counseling during this time, but we relied heavily, heavily on faith to find peace in the chaos that brought. I don't know if any of you can relate to that either. Maybe someone in your circle creates chaos in your life and how that can feel on the daily, just waking up and knowing that I've got a plan for stuff to happen. And so thankfully the sobriety came, but even during that time, it was a confusing time, right? There was a lot of love from my parents, and then there was the chaos. And so I grew up, we were volunteering at church, to church events and our church to help cover our private school costs. My parents were mostly my mom was very adamant that we would attend Catholic school from the time we were in first grade. So we did that to pay for the education. And we had a saying in our family, many hands makes little work. So I love that. And I say it all the time to this day. Um, After that, so around 10 years old, started my first job. I was delivering newspapers. I did that for 2 years. At age 12, I joined a summer program through it's actually through the school district where the kids could work to earn money. So I did that to buy my own clothes. And in high school, I worked the office every summer to pay for my Catholic school, high school education. Despite these humble beginnings, I pursued a 28-year career in nursing. So 22 of those years, I worked in the emergency department. I did serve as the residential care administrator for my family's memory care homes. And that was exciting and fun. I learned something new, but I was working that alongside working in the ER. Beyond these professional accomplishments, I founded Carefolio, a medical healthcare journal. I have right here to show you. Can talk about a little bit more about it in a minute. But so because as a nurse, I saw patients unable to provide that critical information when it was most needed. So Mycare Folio organizes your health information comprehensively, allowing people to spend more time living and less time searching for important details. Additionally, I'm a passionate health and wellness advocate. And I've always emphasized prevention over prescription. And advocacy has always been a word that I've attached to this as well. And I think, just taking charge of your health, taking charge of anyone that you have any control over, which really is no one. But we may think we have control, but just helping at least advocate for the loved ones in our lives, right? Okay. So throughout my life, this voice kept saying, you are made for more, even in nursing and in network marketing, which I found as a gift that dropped into my lap. I advanced to one of the top tiers of the company, but I still felt this calling, like you're made for more. There's something more. And other people around me validated these feelings, like sweet Angelina is telling me, I just love you. I adore you. I follow you. You're inspiring to me. And that really touches my heart. So thank you. But all these words reinforce my belief that there's something more. So while grateful for my past, right, because we learned some lessons and there's always gifts in the hard. That's why I really want to drive home. Maybe you all can think of an example of something that you're in the midst of right now. And maybe you're like, there is no gift in this, absolutely zero. But what if you think back to a time where there was another really hard thing that you journeyed? Look back on that and, maybe ask God to open your eyes and your heart to see that gift, because it is there. There is a gift in everything. Lots of lessons, right? That it teaches us. If anything, it teaches us a lesson. But I did find myself achieving without celebrating, always focusing on the next task. Does that resonate with anyone? Like you just grind and you grind and you grind, and you're like, there's the carrot, there's the carrot, there's the carrot, but you're never like satisfied. That was me. So during this time on my journey, it introduced me to mentors and coaching that taught me to find the joy in the journey. So I can't say enough about, hiring those people, getting in those rooms, reading those books, listening to these podcasts, things that will help you with what it is that you need, because I don't know what you're here for today, but I'm praying that some of my words will speak to your heart and make a difference. So maybe it's joy in your journey. That is really what I'm speaking about today. Celebrating every step, even the smallest of wins. Okay. So no matter where you're standing right now, I want you to know that you are worthy. You were created in God's image and he makes no mistakes. Your past, super important. I want to repeat this like 10 times. Your past does not define your future. Did my past define my future? Absolutely not. Am I a total waste? No. Um, so I just think it's amazing to always look back. Like you don't need to stay there in the past, but just kind of glance back to be like, yep, God had me all along. So when you feel a nudge or hear a whisper, I want you to know that you're here on purpose and with a purpose. And maybe you weren't 17 and pregnant, like I mentioned before, but how many of you are struggling financially or had a challenging childhood where you felt more like the parent than the child? And then do you ever question your worth or wonder about your purpose? So I have 6 steps that I came up with to finding your purpose and knowing that in fact you are worthy. Is it okay if I share that, Angelina? Okay. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So number 1, W. Okay. It's worthy, the mnemonic worthy. WORTHY. Number 1, who or what? Okay. Ask who can help me or what is my next best step when you feel stuck in life or you're swimming in a million different ideas. Just stop, freeze, take a deep breath, fall into prayer, meditation, or whatever it is that you do, and ask, who can help me? Write it on paper. The names will come. I promise you. What is my next best step? Um, it'll just, I don't know, you just get the knowing, you get the whisper, you get the download, or you get a phone call, or you get a random message, or it's just wild. The next step will show up. Okay. Oh, be open to joy in the journey and celebrate each achievement, big or small. Joy can even be found in the challenge. Practice curiosity around that. I had a coach that I hired. She said, Phyllis, you have joy in your journey, but she goes, what's weird is you also have joy in your challenges. She goes, you literally light up when something hard is coming at you. Like, it's fine. We're going to figure this out. So just get that grit, like find that inner grit in you. And if you don't have it, just ask for it. Be curious, practice curiosity. Remember, when you feel a nudge or hear a whisper, it is a clue towards your purpose. Thankful. Appreciate and be thankful for every step, even the hard ones. For this is where growth happens. Help. Seek guidance, counseling, mentoring, coaches, podcasts, books, but real good mentoring. Be careful, like have discernment over who you're accepting advice from, because not all advice is good advice. So look for the professionals and you'll feel it in your bones. Like, this is the right place for me to be. Lastly, why? You are worthy. Acknowledge your worth. God created you in his image and he makes no mistakes. This path may not be easy, but when you figure it out, it's worth it. So I always ask too how I can best support you. So I want to I'll stop there. And anything else, Angelina, you want me to share
Well,
or expand on or?
well, I just love that, you went through, one, I just want to, yes, you were pregnant at a very young age, but you married your high school sweetheart. You are still together. You are celebrating 28 years of marriage. You have a beautiful relationship. I have met your husband. I've met, we've been to events where we've, got to just celebrate, your relationship, your marriage. I can see the love that you guys have. And I just want to say that I appreciate that, that you going through the hard, that you continue to shine. I know that it's not always easy. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. It's not always easy, but that we realize that God has put something in place and has come, God makes no mistakes. And going through those lessons and going through the hard makes us only stronger. And if we look at the hard things that we go through, and like how you said, you just like, okay, what's the hard? I'm going to bring joy into, because you look at the lessons that you're going to learn. Like, what is the lessons I learned and what can I do better? But also not to sit in there too long, because you can't just sit in your head. What should I have done different? What should I like? Okay, I made a mistake, or this happened, or I didn't do this right, but okay, I'll do better next time. I'm going to do it this way and move on, and not sit in the past. We can't change the past, but we can look towards the future. And I love that you show that, and you bring that joy and that radiant spirit in you. And the other thing that I love that you shared is I also started working at like my school district had a program where you could work, and I started working at 14, where I could do the summer and help buy my school clothes. I come from a family of 6, and I was the one of 3, the third oldest, so I understand that too. And so I think that there's so many ways that we relate with each other, and I just love that, because we live in different areas, we're raised in different environments, but we find people that we just mesh with because we have similar backgrounds, even though we never really talked about the similar backgrounds. But then God puts us, like, he puts us in place for a purpose. And I love that. Um, I love that you have this Carefolio that you've created. And I remember when you first talked about your passion project, it was so amazing. And the radiant joy that you talk when you talk about that. I would love to, talk a little bit more about this Carefolio that you designed, you created. That there's just like, I hear so many people when you talk about it, when we're at events and stuff, and they're like, oh, I wish I would have had this. So explain what it is, and how you came, I know that you've been through a lot, and as a caretaker, you've seen a lot of families struggle, and could have used this. And so can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. And that is a very common comment that I get from people is, I wish I would have had that. And then I think, well, you can still have it because, right? What would you have needed it for? Let's talk about it. The crisis situations that arise. Someone suddenly got sick and needed it. And even like in the midst of a crisis, it's kind of the worst time to get prepared, right? Or to grab a binder and start filling it out. Is it possible? Absolutely, yes. But what's more important is that while you are healthy, now's the time to be proactive and take charge of your health. So I really, as I promote Carefolio to be very helpful in the home with caregivers, special needs children, an aging parent, a diagnosis of maybe cancer, and you're trying to navigate all the appointments and doctor's visits and infusions. And did I just take that last medication? I don't know because I have brain fog. Like there's something here for everyone. It literally goes across the spectrum. I had a lunch with a friend today, and she said this would have been great for my dog, who we were having to track gabapentin, different medications that were multiple times a day, multiple vet visits, symptoms, like things that they noticed about their animal. I was like, that's brilliant, because there's nothing in here I would change. It would be the same for a person as it would a fur baby. And so I love that, because I'm like, it is truly a one-stop shop for everyone, from all about me, like tell us about you, all your nuances, emergency medical information, phone numbers, all your emails and passwords. So it's sort of estate planning too. Maybe your dog doesn't have a will and trust, but maybe there's something in there that you want to donate to some pet society, right? But there's just, the phone book is there for all of that. Your caregivers, anybody that's taking care of you, your nail salon, your hair person, your gardener, like it's big, it's comprehensive. And I've listed some ideas to help jog your memory, but there's also a spot for you to just be creative, a place to track your medications, Just gonna have to look at it. So routine and as needed. So from a nursing perspective, there's some that you take every day at the same time. That's considered routine. As needed would be like a Tylenol. I have a headache or menstrual cramps or whatever, you take it as needed. So it even separates that. Tracking forms for people who have their doctors wanting to say, what is your blood pressure? What are your vital signs? Blood sugar records. And this lasts a year with somebody who's really being managed daily, or it can last you a lifetime. It's just a place for you to track your health and say, like, what's going on today? Let me track this abdominal pain I'm having, or why am I getting, why does my period look like this? Or, whatever, something's changing with your health. It's a place to mark it down now, because how many times have you been in a doctor's office and the doctor said, okay, how long has that been going on? And then what do we say? Uh,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Or your mind is like, I think it's been 2 weeks. Nope, 2 months. Oh, actually, it's been a year. And so there's no doubt about when things started. There's a calendar in here for you to keep track. Your calendar starts where you get your book. It's blank. So it's ready for you to put the dates in. A journal, there's a section for you to just write down how you're feeling or things you noticed about the person that you're caring for, little nuances in the day that are different from before, or just like, I'm on a cancer journey and I just want to talk about it and I want to put it on paper just to, just to purge and journal. So it's really, it's your book. You get to do what you want with it. One of my favorite spots here is the appointments, and you can see how it's kind of colored. Each little section is for a doctor's appointment, and every tabbed portion has directions on how to use each section. And so this is chronologically ordered. So where you sit with your doctor, I also gave you questions that you should be asking when you're at an appointment, and always fill it out while you're sitting at home where you're relaxed. What happens when you get in the doctor's chair or office?
You're anxious.
Sweaty pits,
Mhm.
your brain just shuts down. It's called fight or flight. And yet some people call it white coat syndrome. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
It's really fight or flight. And so your brain disappears when that happens because you're focused on running away from the bear, nothing else. And so having your questions prepared, a place to provide the answers that the doctor's giving you as you're sitting there. So this is portable. And then the next doctor's appointment, they can say, oh, you saw so and so here. Here's what they recommended. Here's what you did. Here's my appointment, etc. And then lastly, medical history, all the things from your family history to your history to recent labs, procedures, MRIs, etc., that you've had done. And then a list of like, when's my next one due? So you can just quick reference, see when am I supposed to do this again? And then it ends. So you can add to it. If your doctor has given you your results and you want to keep track of that for a hot minute, just punch some holes in it. Get one of those little folder inserts that's not provided in this folder, but you can add it. That's what I love. It's a binder, it's yours. And you can just tuck it in there to be able to show the next physician. So again, your doctor will know everything that's going on quickly, efficiently. So guess what? They're going to get to their diagnosis faster and less errors. Less
Mhm.
errors. And even on your own part, if you're tracking your medications and you're like, wow, I've actually been taking, you know, 10 Tylenol a day. Don't do that. That's very bad. But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I've really been taking more medication than I thought for this problem. And your doctor can see that and say, yeah, that's not normal. That's a problem. And you're not minimizing things. You're being accurate and factual. And that's what doctors need. They're there for a quick hot second, right? What do we get? Like maybe 15 minutes. If you have functional or integrative, you got like your hour, an hour and a half. But even then they cut you off, right? So having your stuff together, being prepared is going to just maximize your care and provide better outcomes for you, your loved ones, or even your fur babies.
Well, I just love that. I actually was going through. Well, there's a couple of reasons I think that your journal is your care folio is important. Is because one, when I was going through a health issue, I had ovarian cysts, and I kept getting them, and they kept just saying like it just happens, and I was going through medical. I had finally. It took years, but 2 years ago, I finally got, or maybe it's almost three. Finally got the hysterectomy, and then the ovaries removed. I think it's OPA. I can never say what that is, but I got the full on, everything taken out. But when I went back and was filing some medical paperwork, I had realized I had been dealing with cysts since I was 23 years of age. So it was almost a full 20 years of dealing with this type of issues. And they just kept putting it off, putting it off. And I had multiple surgeries to try to, help with things, and just nothing worked. And because the last year I was really proactive about keeping a diary and keeping, as what I needed, as soon as well, my grandma had passed, and some of her health issues made me start like looking at things, like really looking at things and becoming an advocate for myself. And two surgeries and stuff was still not working right. And then I had like went back in. I'm like, this is not working. I want this test. And they did it and realized that my ovarian cyst, the cancer test that you can take to see if you have ovarian cancer, was elevated. And I immediately got into the City of Hope and got everything figured out. And even from the time that I had gotten the surgery in May to what I got in October, I had an endometriosis, and my lining was so bad. It was 10 times the amount of somebody pregnant. So I was so glad that I was being an advocate for myself. But when you went back, I could have been more of an advocate had I kept proper documentation, or, kind of kept it organized, right? That's one of the things I tell people, is we should really organize our lives, because it's a time management thing that I focus on, but organizing our lives will help with anxiety and help with all the other things. And organizing our medical stuff in a Carefolio is super important. And we had a loved one that passed, and we had to figure out why they passed, what was going on, all these things, and trying to go through all their medical records and trying to, how did they want to be buried, and how all these things, what did they want? We didn't know. And if we had had something like that, it would have been very helpful. And I like that you said, even for your animals, but, and it goes like, you don't have to be a certain age to have this. Anybody can have it. Instead of a baby book, this would be a perfect present for somebody once they have the baby. Um, you know, those are or even somebody who just finds out they're pregnant, you give them that, they can document the pregnancies. Just all of the things. Like, there's not one, anybody who's alive needs this book, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much. They're
Yep.
like just the
Anyone
same.
breathing.
Yeah, like I just the same thing with with the wellness business that we talk about. Anybody that has a gut needs our supplements, right?
Gut and
Um,
skin. Yeah.
yeah, if they have a gut or skin, they need our help.
They need our help. Yeah.
And I think that that's so amazing. And so I'm super excited. And I actually, this is a perfect Christmas gift that somebody can give, graduation gift. It's something, just anything. You just need to go out and buy one. And I will have all her information in the show notes on how you can contact her to purchase this. The other thing I wanted to talk about is how, just your worthy speech, which was amazing, because that's one of the things, like, I use the shine principles. Like, you show up every day, you have good habits, you intentionally do the work, um, you navigate and never give up. And then E is every day celebrate your wins. And I liked how you talked about how everybody just, like, you go to the next step, like, what's next, what's next. But you don't ever celebrate the accomplishment or just live in that appreciation. And so has there ever been a moment in your life where, like, you talked about how you were just going to the next step, going, and then you had to like really slow down? Was there one thing that triggered that, or is it just a bunch of things that personal growth? Like, what made that the focus to learn how to just slow down?
Oh, so, I mean, I think I've always done this in nursing school. I
Mhm.
finished nursing school. I had 2 little kids. They were 9 and 11 when I graduated, and I was just bawling my eyes out on stage. I had this weight lifted, like, all I have to do now is just work, and I had been working and going to school, and no sooner had I walked off that stage and taken all the pictures and got home and dried all that messy tears, I was already thinking, I'm not done. I'm going to get my nurse practitioner's license. And then I worked for a doctor's office, and I was like, I should just become a doctor, but I really don't. I didn't think it meshed well with having a family, and I always wanted to be there for my family. But my husband was like, please don't do that. Please don't, please don't put us, like, we already got you through nursing school. Just hold on. But do you see what I mean? Like, it started there. And so through coaching and counseling and all of that, that restless spirit just came from a childhood of chaos, of like, this looks whatever. I gotta fix it and solve it. And just never having that, I just never had that peace about me. And so finding your peace, finding serenity, like I'm in a program right now because I have the alcoholism has been in my family. It's a good, strong gene, and there's many people that that I can resonate with and then qualify to attend Al-Anon. And so I've been going to this Al-Anon group, which is for families or friends of alcoholics. And so I go and I love it because there we talk about peace and finding serenity and letting things go and knowing when it's in your control and when it's not, and just asking for your higher power to show you what's the difference. Like, show me the difference of what am I supposed to be in control of and what do I need to let go. And so I think that has been a huge actual turning point for me. Yep. To just be like, I'm happy right where I'm at. I'm launching a Carefolio. I have a health and wellness business too. I'm running two businesses side by side. Some days feel busy, right? Or that word overwhelmed, but I actually don't feel overwhelmed. I take a deep breath and I just ask the questions like, who can help me with this? If I'm feeling like, it's like, stop, freeze, like you retrain your brain, right?
Mhm.
Who can help me with this? Call them, move into action, make the phone call, schedule the appointment. It's going to release a lot of anxiety and stress from you. And then next question. What is my next best step? Like write it down, put a brain dump on paper and just look and see, um, what is my next best step? Because once you list it, you're going to go, oh, that's it right there. It might not feel good, but do it. Like, take the biggest bite of the elephant you can and just tackle it, because you're going to be so much happier once it's done. Once you can cross that line it out on your list, it's freeing. It's very freeing. So, yep.
I love that. That's one of the things people always say, well, I don't have time. My focus, I do time management coaching, and people are like, I've got to move, I do this, I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm like, brain dump. What is everything you have to do? And then start prioritizing it. Or like put it in a prioritization matrix. Is this why is it a priority? Or is it just, I have to do it because I don't want to delegate it to anybody else? Like, what are the things that you can delegate? And what is like truly something that you have to like focus on? And, we just feel like a long time ago, I only have 2 kids. I didn't, but I was working, going to school full time. My husband has medical issues. And so things were busy. It was chaotic, right? But instead of like wasting time or feeling like I was the only one that had to do the dishes, like my kids started cooking dinner at 8 years old. My son was 8, wanted to learn fractions, said he never needed it. You're gonna make 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese. Learned how to do, and like he did it. I learned, made him learn. And then I was like, we can eat macaroni and cheese and hot dogs one night a week. And like, okay, you're gonna start doing dinner. Like we just like we like sometimes have such a hard time learning how to delegate tasks. And because I'm kind of similar with you is what I grew up, and it was a lot. My mom was an amazing mom, but there was a lot of chaos too at times. She was working, going to school full time, working 2 jobs, like doing all the things to raise us. And so we were like kind of latchkey kids. Like there was times where we were home alone and we had to make dinner, and I always wanted to help her as much as I could and be the problem solver, and make sure all these things. And so like when you start your own family, you're like, okay, this is what, I want to be the best mom. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and do that. And like, wait, I need to slow down. I need to make sure that my husband and I are happy together. And it wasn't easy. Like I'm saying, like we didn't used to do date nights. We didn't used to do all these things, but now we just make sure we take the time to do all these things. But it's one, learning, stopping that anxiety of thinking that you have to do everything and you have all these things in your head, and not just sitting down, slow down, and to write out everything that you need to do. And what is that a priority? Do I really need to do this, or can I give it to somebody else to do? Or, can it wait another week, or can, things like that. It really helps with the stress and the release of things. And then so that you're truly present. Like I was on another podcast talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if I could have done this all over, if I could have raised my kids, the only thing that I would have done differently is at birthday parties, hire a photographer. Like
Mm, that's a great
hire,
idea.
yeah, hire a photographer so that that person, I could be present, like truly present, and enjoy those types of things in life. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, high achievers love to just stay busy. And I have to consciously say, it's time to play. Like it's time to shut it down and go play. And and that has been wonderful because I used to feel guilty about it. If I sat still for too long, watched TV during the middle of the day, I was a self-proclaimed, oh my gosh, if you watch TV during the middle of the day, you are lazy. Like I attached a lot of negative meaning to that. Phyllis really could have used a sit down in the middle of the day. And if I needed to watch TV to make that happen, I should have done that.
Mhm.
But I would just grind through my day. And I mean, the house was amazing, it was immaculate, it was spotless, but was Phyllis happy? No. And the hormones were a mess and all the things. And I think a lot of us say this, that we wished I would have had my health supplements back then because I know it would have made a difference. But, today's another day and all we can do is move forward and learn from our past and grow. Like the growth part is cool.
And educate others, like you don't have to sit in the hard. You don't have to sit in the, you have to be, the house has to be perfect and all these things, and you're not taking care of you. And like I tell my people when my people when I'm scheduling and we're talking about time management and scheduling and how you schedule your week, I said, first thing you do is you schedule time for yourself. You schedule that self-care. You schedule time for you to do your exercise, to do your breathing, you do transitional work and things like that, because at the you have to take care of you. Like God gave us our bodies to take, and they're a temple, and we need to take care of us. And we cannot take care of others if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so that's so super important. And I love, because I've also learned through personal growth and all the things, like slow down
Okay.
and be calm. And I reward myself now to watch HGTV when I'm flying on the plane. I'll put HGTV on, and I'll, create or do whatever, I'm focusing on. But I'm like, it's okay to watch TV when I'm stuck there, but on the plane, but it's okay to do that. And as long as you don't, do it every single day for 12 hours a day, like and if you do, that's fine. That's what but if you have goals and you don't want to stay in the same place, love yourself to know that you're worthy and that you can truly shine if you just take some action. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And you can do hard things and it's just a season. It's a season. It's temporary. I love the word temporary. It's just temporary. You know that you're not going to be there forever. And I've been around people that have gone through some really, really hard things and they have peace and they have serenity around it. And I'm like, that is nothing but, God, just providing that knowledge, that everything's going to be okay despite your current circumstances. So just rest in that, knowing like Jeremiah 29:11. I love that Bible verse.
Mhm.
It was on our fridge when we were growing up, making no money at all. We made $17,000 combined income when we were first married. And no, I wasn't married in the 1950s, 1988. That was poor. Okay. And so, Jeremiah 29:11 sat on our fridge and it was, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for a future. Wait, what is it? Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. There you go.
Right.
To prosper and not to harm. And so I just feel like maybe that's a prayer or a verse you need to just recite to yourself over and over again, or write it down or put it on your mirror or put post-it notes all over the place, just so um, you know that your path has already planned out for you. Just open your eyes and open your ears to be like ready for it, ready for the changes coming.
I love that. I was going to just ask you for a call to action, and you just kind of did what I need my listeners to do. And it's not the first time that verse has come up in my podcast, and
Uh,
it should really be part of my mission statement. But yeah, because we go through, and that's the whole truth of life. Like we go through valleys, we go through these journeys, and there's times when like things were so hard, and I was like, I don't know, God, if I'm going to get through this. And just relying on my faith, and learning that what is the lessons, and I'm going to get through things. And as even today, there's times when things are hard, and earlier this week there were some things going on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I'm like, wait, God knows that sometimes there's distractions that are happening to me, and am I allowing those distractions take me away from what God has for my purpose? And so those are the things, like, he knows the plans he has for us. So why are we letting these distractions, whether it's people, whatever it is, it's causing these distractions, take us away from the purpose that God gave us, and the plan that he has, and the goals that he has for us to move forward, and the people that he wants us to help. And so that's really important. So I love that you shared that, because that's something that's been resonating a lot with me this whole month, actually, about, being in the present, being in the journey, and knowing that God's giving me great things, because great things are going to come. So I love
Yes.
that.
Oh, yeah, and listening to who you need to spend less time around. I don't know why I needed to say that, but that can be a huge distraction for you. If you think, I got to call that person, well, do you?
Mhm.
Are they an uplifting person, or are you attracted to their chaos? Because that's the other thing, when you've had trauma in your life, chaos is your best friend. And so it's time to break up with chaos. It's time to step into the new you, the one that God has plans for. And, protect your peace, protect your space, protect your mind, your body and your spirit. So,
Oh, I just love that. Well, our time is almost up, and I don't want it to end on. So, I just want to say, though, I thank you, and I will have in the show notes on how my listeners can follow you, and I'm going to tell them they need to get that Carefolio. I'll have access to, show 'em your website, and also, would you mind leaving your Instagram, Facebook, or however you want to follow? Okay,
yep. Yeah,
awesome.
I've got it all. YouTube channel,
Oh,
two
awesome, awesome,
different websites. Yep. Lots of
awesome.
places to find me, you guys. Would love to support you in any way.
Well, thank you. I just absolutely love having you, and I'm so thankful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Angelina. Love you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fill your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.